Now, the point that I wanted to make today is what opportunities do we have to be able to intervene as intellectual actors on our data doubles. And so we do have another life, whether we like it or not, and that life consists in massive data about our movements and communications that have been collected, and that data creates a data double, our identity, and corporations and governments have an interest in connecting that data with other things that we do. So you fill out a census, you file your tax, you go to NHS, and then these sorts of data are collected together to build a profile of who you are, what you do. Sometimes in benign reasons like advertising, sometimes other benign reasons like, well, we're trying to detect terrorists amongst us. But on the other hand, the amount of data collected without making an exaggeration is the kind of data that states or corporations never had over the last 8,000 years. State been around for about 8,000 years. There was never a moment where kings, crowns, queens had this kind of data about their subjects. And yet now there's that kind of data available. And this is the global infrastructure of one particular company, Amazon. Now, again, to disabuse you of some assumptions that you might have about Amazon, you might think that Amazon is about selling gadgets, but also it provides data centers and data storage facilities. In fact, it makes quite a bit of money from that. And it runs about these data centers and facilities in 53 countries and counting. So it is in the business of moving data around. And these data centers spread around the world, and it does not, when it provides the information, it doesn't even provide it in terms of countries. It names them as zones. So particularly, it doesn't show any interest in privacy laws, in terms of transparency laws that might hold in any one of these jurisdictions. As far as it is concerned, there is not much difference between Bahrain, China, Osaka, Sydney, Seoul, Mumbai, or California. These are not even comparable regions, right? One is a state, the other one is a region, the other one is a city, and then another one is a country. In other words, Amazon doesn't really care about the laws that pertain, but it moves around your data in these jurisdictions. And we don't know, we don't have access to which one of my, for example, data doubles resides in which of these data centers. Now multiply this with all these companies do more or less the same thing. Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and smaller companies who are doing these kinds of movements. Imagine how our data doubles are existing internationally. Now, you might think that also that you're a diligent international actor. Now you have been mobilized, especially you heard Professor Eisen speak about international politics and turning yourself into an actor in international politics. You started swiping data from your various accounts, you deleted accounts and so on, and you say, oh, you see, I don't have a data double. Think again. And here's mea culpa on my part. So on the day that I'm giving this lecture, a version of it to offer holders, Saturday morning, I remember, I received this email from Nike. Run Club data is about to expire. I said, what Run Club data? I'm not a member of a Run Club. I don't even run. Like, I don't jog. What's going on? Of course, I said, it must be phishing or something. But I looked inside, I checked it on. I have some means to check, and it's not a phishing. It's actually from Nike, and it is a legitimate email. So then I went into the email after making sure that it's not phishing or spam. And I said, don't let your Nike Run Club data disappear. Click here to keep your data. And of course, I didn't click what data I'm collecting. So it turns out, I had, in the heydays of iPhone, actually I was just trying various things, and lo and behold, remember, I don't read, it's a bad thing, it's a sin, but I don't read all the details of things that I'm agreeing to. Apparently I agreed with Nike to collect data about the phone I had and its step counting thing. And it's been busily collecting, but I have no idea. And it's about to expire. I didn't go in because I want that to disappear, that data to disappear, but that's several years of my whereabouts, that data. Can you imagine the amazing, and I've been a number of countries in the several years, number of places, and you can actually plot that, and you could have plotted that without me knowing. And there's that kind of power exists now about the kinds of data that's been collected. Now, going back to the issue of international politics. Now, this might sound like daunting. How are we going to actually get around this? How are we going to do something about this? You say that we can be international actors, but what power do we have? Look, even you had no idea about data being collected of you, and even when it was came back to you, you were surprised. Can you imagine what other data that's available about me? How can I get control of this? Well, it is really difficult, and we cannot do it individually. This is where collective organizing, collective changing of laws, the issues of privacy, accountability, transparency become significant issues. And how we conduct our lives online also becomes an international issue. We can't any longer act innocently, thinking that I'm just simply doing my work. I'm just simply trying to be a student. I'm just simply buying something. No, you have to evaluate all these actions that we are online, and collectively we have to organize ourselves to say something about what can be done about this data. Just in case you think that it is a lost cause, I'll give you one hopeful example. So, is it Deliveroo? Deliveroo, what do we call them? Deliveroos? I don't know. People who Deliveroo stuff. They're organizing, they're asking hard questions along with Uber. And recently in a court filing, they said that when they move from one company to the other, let's say, supposedly you're working in Uber and you're shifting to Deliveroo, that it should be their right to take their data with them, because it is also about their own performance. Why should the company has the right to that data? And I was first shocked that, gosh, we don't have that right actually. That's right, this is privately owned data because you sign and you let go of your rights. And now it's been turned into collective bargaining issue and labor rights, that when you're moving from one place to another, that you should be able to take your data with you. Of course, is this a major win, major gain in terms of rights? Probably not. Has it been won? Not yet. But at least we started thinking about it, so that we realize now it's also entangled with labor rights. Similarly, for you as students, for example, when you switch from one university to the other, let's say you finish your BA studies and then you're going to do your MA. Of course you take with you your grades, but the universities collect more data than grades in terms of your performance. Shouldn't you have access to that data when you go to university? Shouldn't you, for example, be given a transparent access to all the information that's been collected about you when you were in the university? It raises those kinds of questions, and these questions are questions of international politics. Because lo and behold, you might find that the data that your university collects about you is stored in China. You need to know about that. Where is it being stored? So it raises all these questions of international politics.